Be honest, do you actually read descriptions when you're shopping on Etsy? Your very first paragraph in your description is like your shop window. Almost everyone glances at it, but only a few will step inside to take a look around. The opening paragraph of your description has to be strong enough to catch their attention and convince them they're in the right place. Well, the good news is you don't have to overthink it. Today, I'm going to show you the 3-layer formula I have developed for writing Etsy descriptions. It's simple, it works for scanners and detail lovers alike, and you can start using it today. Hi, I'm Carol, a vintage lover and owner of V Vintage Collectibles on Etsy. On this channel, I share what I've learned along the way to help other resellers grow their shops with confidence. And just a quick confession, my own descriptions aren't perfect either. I'm always learning and working to do better, and today's video is part of that journey. So if you're still figuring it out too, you're in good company. From what I've seen, there are really 3 types of shoppers on Etsy. The ones who read every word, the ones who scan the first paragraph for key details, and the ones who don't read descriptions at all. That means your very first paragraph is doing the heavy lifting in your description because for many buyers, it's the only part they'll ever read. Quick question for you. Are you someone who reads full descriptions when you shop, or do you just skim the top? Drop your answer in the comments down below. I'm genuinely curious. Let's take a quick look at what Etsy tells us about writing descriptions. This is from the Seller Handbook. Number 1, start with the most important information first. Keep your descriptions easy to read with short paragraphs and clear formatting. Write in your brand voice so your descriptions match the overall feel of your shop. Include relevant details like size, color, and material to set buyer expectations, and think like your customer. Answer the questions they would ask before they purchase. So Etsy tells us that the structure matters and your description should be both scannable and human. But what does that really mean? Well, it means we're not writing a novel, but we're not just listing facts either. Etsy wants our descriptions to be easy for buyers to skim, especially on mobile, and also warm and engaging enough to build trust. That's a tall order. So here is how I have taken that advice and turned it into a simple, repeatable formula that works especially well for vintage sellers like us. Whether you're writing about a mid-century vase or a 1990s cake topper, this structure helps you balance information and inspiration. Let me introduce you to my 3-layer description writing approach. Layer 1 for that first paragraph includes the essentials. And this is mainly for the scanners, the people who only read the first paragraph, but also for the detail lovers who are going to go on and read your whole description. In layer 1, you want to name the item, tell the era or style, give it size, elaborate on some of its features, and offer a value statement for that item. For those shoppers who go on to read more in your description, layer 2 tells the details and a story. It elaborates on the era. It talks about placement and use of the item, what styles that item would fit with, its versatility, some display ideas, and it offers some emotional appeal as well as gift ideas for buying that item. And finally, those things which you need to make sure you have in every description. The condition statement, is it chipped or cracked or whatever? How's the finish on it? Give a disclaimer, especially for photos. If you're using a styled photo with other items in it, make sure that you say the props are not included. Give purchase clarity that states only this vase is included with purchase. Talk about your customer service a little bit and give a link to the rest of your shop so that customers can go on and look at even more items to possibly buy from you. Now here's an item from my shop. I'm not happy with the old description, so I'm going to use this item to demonstrate, to model for you, if I use my teaching terms, how to develop a description for it. Let's start with layer 1. Here's how I'll start that outline. This is a vintage Fenton white milk glass hobnail swung vase. It's kind of a long title. It comes from mid-century modern style. It is 19.5 inches tall. It has a pedestal base, a scalloped rim, and a hobnail texture. And I'm just going to say it instantly brightens any space. Moving on to layer 2, I'm going to say a little bit more about it was designed in the 1950s or 1960s. Could be used as a centerpiece on a sideboard or a mantle. I think that this item would complement farmhouse, cottage, or modern decor. In fact, it's an accent for year-round styling. I mean, you could dress this up for Christmas or for summer, anything. I think you could fill it with flowers. You could actually even use it as a gift vase. You could fill it with branches or just leave it as a statement piece. It's nice and tall and it really does command the eye. I want to give it a little bit of emotional appeal here by saying it brings elegance and charm to a room, and also give some more gift ideas, weddings, housewarmings, anniversaries. And now in layer 3, I'm going to make sure my customer knows it's in excellent vintage condition. No chips, no cracks, no repairs. Its finish is glossy and bright with minimal signs of use. I always put in a disclaimer saying that props shown in the photos are just for inspiration. They are not for purchase. And I go on to make that very clear by saying the purchase includes the vase only, props not included. I like to say something about customer service. I have excellent customer service. I ship carefully and so on. And at the bottom of every one of my descriptions, I include a link that's very nicely introduced to the rest of my shop. So hopefully that customer will not just look for the one thing they searched, but they'll go on and look at more items in my shop. The next step is to use that outline to develop a compelling description for your item. Let's see what that looks like using the outline we developed with the 3 layers. So here I have transformed that outline into a narrative in sentences. And I'm saying, bring a timeless touch of mid-century modern style to your home with this vintage Fenton white milk glass hobnail swung vase. Standing an impressive 19.5 inches tall, it features a pedestal base, elegant scalloped rim, and the classic hobnail texture that instantly brightens any space. Layer 2 of the outline actually developed into 2 separate paragraphs. Designed in the 1950s to 1960s, this vase makes a beautiful centerpiece for a dining table, sideboard, or mantle. Its crisp milk glass blends effortlessly with farmhouse, cottage, or modern decor, making it a versatile accent you'll enjoy styling throughout the seasons. Filled with fresh flowers, branches, or left as a statement on its own, it brings elegance and charm to any room. This piece also makes a thoughtful gift for weddings, housewarmings, or anniversaries, a meaningful way to share vintage beauty with someone special. For ease of reading, I have split layer 3 into 3 paragraphs. Condition: excellent vintage condition with no chips, cracks, or repairs. Glossy and bright with only minimal signs of previous use, typical of well cared for milk glass. And I did start that sentence with just the word condition and a colon, because if someone is just scanning through your description, they're looking for condition, and we want that to jump out right away. So that's why I did that, even though that makes it kind of a clunky sentence. Second paragraph, note, props shown in photos are for inspiration only. Purchase includes the Fenton hobnail swung vase as described. And then finally, my last paragraph, I use this in every single one of my descriptions. At V Vintage Collectibles, we prioritize exceptional customer service and careful shipping. Discover more vintage treasures in our curated collection, and then I give the link to the rest of my shop. So here's the complete description as it appears in my Etsy shop with this item. I'm not going to read it all over to you again, but this is basically what most of my descriptions, at least I'm aspiring to, will look like. A couple of longer paragraphs at the beginning with shorter, more precise paragraphs all the way down to the bottom. I'll be putting this outline down in the description below this video so you can copy it out and use it for yourself. And here's a tip. If you're using AI to help you write your descriptions, which I almost always do now to save time, just fill in the outline with the details of your specific item, the style, the size, the era, any interesting features or flaws, and then paste that into ChatGPT or whatever tool you prefer. If your AI service allows it, upload as many photos of the item as possible along with your outline. That extra visual context can help ensure the description is as accurate and as detailed as possible. Ask it to turn your bullet points into a warm, compelling narrative, and you're off to a great start. This is especially helpful if you're listing in batches or trying to keep your tone consistent across your shop. The outline gives you structure, and the AI gives it polish. Just be sure to read it over and adjust the language so it still sounds like you. So remember, don't overthink it. Just focus on the 3 layers: essentials for scanners, story for detail lovers, and reassurance for confidence. No matter how much your buyer reads, your bases are covered. If you're thinking, I really should rewrite some of my older descriptions, tell me which item you're going to tackle first. I'd love to cheer you on. If today's video helped you think differently about Etsy descriptions, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future tips. And I'd love to hear from you. Are you a detail reader, a scanner, or do you just shop by photos? Drop a comment below and let's compare notes. Now let's see what sold in my shop this week. It seems my Christmas sales are really ramping up. This week I sold this set of 1876 Cape Cod Ruby Red Salt and Pepper Shakers from Avon for $19.80. I sourced it at an antique store here where I live in Florida last year for $6.42. It took almost a year. However, realize that was only in my shop until after Christmas last year, and it's only been relisted for another month. So I would say it's only been in my shop for about 3 or 4 months in reality. My gross profit was $13.38, giving me a gross margin of 67.6%. Yay! And a return on investment for 208.4%. That is respectable, especially on such a small item. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.